friends, I am so excited to make some art with you today. All you'll need is some kind of paper. It could be paper from a sketchbook, any kind of blank paper. It could be lined paper, and some kind of drawing tool. In the future, we may need some other materials such as Elmer's glue or a glue stick. So for future arts, it's good to have that on hand. You may need a scissor for future arts, and it's a good idea to be collecting some old cardboard that you may be throwing out in your home, such as boxes from cereal, from pasta. This is really good cardboard because it's thin enough to cut with the scissors. And another thing to collect, if you have them, if not it's okay, are toilet paper tubes and paper towel tubes, which we might use in future art projects.
All right, friends, today we're going to try to draw a cardinal. There are a lot of cardinals flying about where I live in Maryland, and maybe you've seen one outside in your neighborhood. So all you'll need is a paper, or it could be in your sketchbook, and something to draw with. A drawing tool can be pencil, pen. I'm going to draw with a Sharpie because the black line shows up really well. Marker, you can use a colored marker, you can use a colored pencil, really anything that makes a line will work for this. And because I'm drawing mine in a black Sharpie, I'm going to color it in later, which you are welcome to do too. We're going to start with our bird's beak over to the side of our page. So to start with the beak, I'm doing a small straight line and then a curve, not really too much of a curve, but a diagonal. I'm going to start with a sideways triangle, but I'm going to connect these 2 points with a curve. Cardinals don't have really long beaks like a hummingbird might. They have kind of short, wide beaks. I think that might be dependent upon the kind of food that they eat. So I'm connecting the back of the beak, and a beak has 2 parts, a top and a bottom. So to show that, I'm going to do a line from the tip to the back on a diagonal like that, and there's my cardinal's beak. After this, I'm going to do kind of an L shape, a curvy L that's going to be the chest and belly of my bird. So I'm tracing it with my fingers first to get that muscle memory going. I'm going from the bottom of the beak, not the tip, the bottom here, and I'm going to go slow. I'm going to start coming down, and I'm going to bring my pen back like that. After this, I'm going to start my bird's legs here and here. To do that, I'm going to almost draw a V, but not a V that comes to a point. It's going to be a V that comes down at a diagonal, has a flat bottom, and then comes up to the bottom of my bird. And I'm going to give it a second leg, and this is just the top of the leg, this is not the whole leg. A diagonal that comes down, a flat bottom, and then up again to connect to the bird's bottom. Now, birds' legs are kind of interesting because they come this way, but then they bend kind of opposite the way our knee joints work. They go the other way. So I'm going to do 2 skinny lines that way and create another skinny kind of leg that way. And that completes the legs, but now we have to do their claws or their talons. To do this, I'm going to put another 2 lines here and another 2 lines here. And that'll be kind of like the talon that's gripping whatever it's standing on. We'll decide that later. I'm going to close that off with a little line and close that off with a little line. And to give it a kind of a nail, I'm going to do a little triangle there and a little triangle there. And I'm going to do the same for this leg. I'm going to do 2 lines that way and 2 lines that way. Close it off, triangle, triangle. We'll come back to this part later to decide what it's standing on. Maybe it's a tree branch, maybe it's a tree stump. Cardinals have a crest, and that crest is pretty distinctive. It's kind of the part of their head that comes up and it kind of wiggles a little bit, and then from there we're going to connect it back here. So for your cardinal's head, you can kind of decide what kind of shape you want to give it. I'm going to have mine go up this way a little bit and end there, and then in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and that creates that cardinal crest, which is pretty distinctive. Not every bird has that. Now I'm going to do a line, a curve that goes from where I ended that crest to where I ended kind of its belly, a line right here. You could do it straight, or you could have it be a gentle curve. I'm going to do a gentle curve that goes up and over. It connects. For the tail feathers, that's another distinctive part of a cardinal. They have long tail feathers. To do that, I'm starting kind of where I ended that line, and I'm going to come with a straight line out, And then I'm gonna go right from here, I'm gonna go straight down again. To connect these two lines, I'm gonna do kind of what I call a scalloped edge. Up and down into a series of U shapes or V shapes. From there, I'm gonna do the cardinal's eye. Now, we ended the beak, oh, and I just realized the beak, I always forget this part. There's a little kind of nostril that birds have. It's on the back part. We're gonna add that right now. Wherever that nostril kind of is, it's in the upper part of the beak, you're gonna go straight back into the head, and right there is about where you're gonna put the eye. I always do an eye with an open circle first, and then I decide, will it have a highlight? If I'm gonna do a highlight, I draw a circle inside, I fill in carefully around it, and so it kind of looks like that eye has a shine. You could put another circle around that to give it some detail. Cardinals also have what's called a mask, and on the male cardinal there's a black mask, and to create that, and this, if you are coloring in your bird, it will be colored in black. From above the beak, not right where the beak was, but up a little bit, you're gonna go straight back over the eye without touching the eye, and then you're gonna drape that line, you're gonna take it behind the eye without touching it and connect it to just below the beak. Watch. There we go. This part in here can be colored in black. Now, we're gonna give our cardinal that wing. Now, we know cardinals have two wings, but we're looking at it from the side, so we're just gonna put one wing on. Right in the middle of your cardinal, I want you to do a line that goes straight to its back. From where we started that wing, we're gonna come down in a curve and connect it to about where the tail is. I'm gonna come down in a curve and connect it right there. Now, in the wing and in the tail, let's add some feather details. What I like to do, and this can be different for your bird because not every bird has their feathers in the exact same place. I'm gonna start with a series of tall U's there and another series of tall U's there. And then underneath that, I'm gonna do some lines. And these might be different shaped feathers because these birds have all different types and size and shaped feathers. And I'm gonna put some lines there, and I'm gonna put some lines in the tail because the tail feathers are really just feathers that are layered on top of each other. From there, we can decide what our cardinal is standing on. The way that we've got the feet positioned, it makes sense for it to be standing on something that kind of comes like this and like this. If you want to experiment with your bird and draw the feet differently, you are welcome to. As if it was grabbing onto a tree branch or something, the feet would look a little different. But I'm gonna put a line here that goes straight back here and maybe here, as if my cardinal has found a tree stump and he's just kind of hanging out there. But you can totally design what your cardinal is standing on or gripping however you want it to be. And I'll do some lines here to show the texture of the tree bark. And finally, we can think about maybe our cardinal is calling out to his little friends and he wants to say something to his buddies in the woods. Or maybe he's thinking something about like what he's gonna eat for breakfast. Worms, worms, glorious worms. Looking good, Miss Hay. Oh, thank you, Robert the sloth.